We're back on Fight News Now, here with John Randine and Robin Black. We're going to dive into Bellator 149, which went down Friday night from the Toyota Center. And what a card it was. Lots to discuss coming out of this particular one. At the time we're speaking, the number hasn't been released yet, but I think we're all probably in agreement. This is going to be a gigantic number, and that was the reason this was all put together. It's because on Friday night, say what you will, this felt like a big event. Everyone was discussing this, and I think that the viewership is going to be through the roof. I don't think we can dispute that, but I think there's many other issues that come out of this that you have to be looking at long term. We'll start off with Royce Gracie and Ken Shamrock. This one, maybe in some ways the best ending possible because it could set up another fight, and in some ways the worst because it sets up another fight coming out of this. I think that's how you can look at it here. In terms of the fight for as long as it lasted, certainly you can see that Ken Shamrock, who is filing a complaint, has something to complain about. What do you go out of this with, John?
Exactly what you said. Like, what in the world did people expect? Ken Shamrock is 50 years old. Royce Gracie has not been inside of the cage or ring in 7 years. So for things to unfold the way that they did, I don't think anybody is surprised because this is kind of the way things are supposed to play out. What did people expect? They did not expect high-level mixed martial arts. They expected two pioneers to go and do their thing. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, a low blow was landed. Royce Gracie still raises his arm to say, hey, I got my first TKO victory of my career. And the Bellator promotion has an opportunity to put it on because you have a story there. You can continue this the story of Gracie versus Shamrock.
What they didn't show in that replay was the groin shot that hit Ken. Listen, I don't have as much of a problem with this fight, regardless of their age or regardless of how the fight turned out.
There was more. People were upset about the nature of the finish, not so much the quality of the fight.
Hey, listen, they're pioneers who this sport doesn't exist without Ken Shamrock and Royce Gracie. If these guys want to fight, if they can find fights like this to make good money and go out and do the thing they love, more power to you guys. If people don't like it as a main event or don't like the way it's positioned, take that up with Bellator. But Royce and Ken, you've earned every right to fight.
We move on to the more, I guess, discussed fight involving Kimbo Slice and Dada 5000. I mean, so much has been made about this fight. I mean, this thing was a train wreck for the entire time this thing lasted. I mean, these were two fighters that once they got out of the first round, these were two ill-equipped athletes to be competing at this kind of high-level mixed martial arts promotion in North America. And I think that the health issues coming out of this for Dada 5000, which Scott Coker has apparently stated to Loretta Hunt, have been blown out of proportion. But the stories that are out there are pretty awful. I mean, it's pretty scary. And to me, I'm kind of done with this stuff because I think the health and safety of these fighters is much more important than any amount of eyeballs you can get for this. And this could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I totally understand, and I get it. And you want to support the fighters, you want to ensure their safety. But what did we really expect coming out of this fight with a guy that has barely competed in Dada 5000 and against Kimbo Slice? We've seen Kimbo Slice throughout his time in mixed martial arts. It's not as if he's the most evolved guy. Yes, he's better than Dada 5000, but the question I asked Robin before is, yes, we all realized that it was a dangerous scenario.
Check out this mount.
Yeah, oh my God, no effort whatsoever. But Dada 5000 apparently had kidney failure and so on and so forth, but he's recovering, and we're talking about the safety of a fighter.
What was his hydration level, you figure, going into this fight? I mean, there's just so many questions that come out of it, and it's like the safety to me is the biggest concern. I'm not watching this and laughing. I'm watching and I'm genuinely concerned.
Sure.
Listen, man.
Like, we're playing with fire here.
What we can't do is analyze, what happened to his body, what happened to his hydration, what happened with his weight cut. All this stuff was wrong because he's not a professional fighter. He doesn't know, oh man, my weight cut was terrible. You don't know what a weight cut is when you're not a professional fighter. People don't, I cut 40 pounds. First of all, we don't need to believe everything that he said. He's a great promoter, he's an exciting guy, he's got a lot of sizzle, and that is a great thing to get you a record deal, or to get you a reality show, or to get you on Lip Sync Battle. You're not a professional fighter. You'll die in the cage. And you won't die because of head trauma. You'll die because of the complex physiological challenges of just existing in an MMA fight. This should never have happened. The Texas Commission, I'm looking at you, should be ashamed of yourself. Scott Coker, if you really, I get it, man. You know that this Dada 1299 guy is saying, you know, hey, man, I almost died, man. Look at my heart. Of course he is. He sells sizzle. That's what he does. So, yes, he might be exaggerating. But don't downplay this, Scott Coker. We blame Spike TV and we blame Viacom a lot more than you because we know that that's a push from a big company kind of thing. But don't downplay this, man. If a guy died in the cage, none of us, you know what the conversations would be.
And I just question that the television viewership, we know what it's going to be. We know this is going to be a critical success.
And that sucks.
And the question is, how much do you continue to go to this? There is a certain level of diminishing returns once people get past this.
For sure.
Maybe that was Friday. Maybe it's 2 years from now. You don't know.
And maybe you sell this by then getting a guy to fight a lion, and then you get two guys with swords to fight. I mean, if you're just going to make it more and more nonsensical, more and more people will watch it, but that's not a good thing.
All right, two very different reviews of the UFC card on Sunday and Bellator 149 this coming Saturday. We have Anderson Silva taking on Michael Bisping. No swords involved. It'll take place in London, England. Our coverage kicks off at 3 Eastern Time on February the 27th with the main card airing live here on Fight Network in Canada.